Actually, just check. Actually, yeah, Vinny, do you want to just say hello so check we can hear you?
Hello, you can hear me, mate.
Perfect. You've got the first two questions, Vinny, and then we'll go around.
Sound. Hi, Jürgen.
Hi, Winnie.
Is this a situation when you're trailing by 2 goals where you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and that can work in your favour on the night?
When you're 3-1 down, it looks like you're already out. That means you have not a lot to lose, let me say like this. And yeah, so we will give it a try. I think that's the job we have to do, and that's exactly how we will go for it, if you want. It's a result which showed was a result of the performances of the night. They were better than us. We were not as good as we should have been or could have been. But it's the first half of the leg, and so yeah, that's it.
You spoke also last week about creating your own atmosphere at Anfield. So what is the key to that?
Oh, we have to, because everybody now. It's not the first interview I have, obviously, today, and everybody's about our comebacks in the past and was with supporters and stuff like this. That's true, but that's a lot of problems we have, or we will face before we have even a chance to win that game. And that's actually the idea, that we try to win the football game tomorrow night. Is just one extra problem. No supporters in the stadium. So the result is a problem, the quality of the opponent is a problem, and then obviously that the stadium is empty is a problem as well. So now I can hear me twice, that's great.
Sorry, it's okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Good, okay, finished, yeah. Vinny, we'll go to Summer Shoot from PLP for one, and then we'll go around.
Hi again, nice to see you. Just a quick one on Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you don't mind. It's pretty clear that he's been working extra hard over the past couple of weeks. Is that what separates the world-class players from the rest? The ability to raise your game, raise your standards after a setback?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it's actually what you always expect from each player, but look, it's a little bit of a problem for me to answer the question, because it always looks like he didn't play well before. And I really don't. We don't play a brilliant season. We know that so far. But Trent had a difficult start from a specific moment. He played a really good season. Did he play exactly as good as he could have played or played in the past? Stuff like this, I don't even know 100%. But then it started a discussion, and he raised his game after that. He had assists for us before that. Yes, it's a special situation. He reacted really well, and that's important. But it's not that he was in a dark place and had to lift himself out of that. He just didn't get selected for England. That was all.
Okay, thank you, Sam. We will go to Ian Kennedy from the BBC, and then James from TalkSport. Ian.
Hi, Jürgen.
Hi.
Jürgen, you've been in this situation before, obviously, and I know other games are in the past now, and people will reference the Barcelona game, for example, but is there anything that you yourself would go back to in terms of the run-up to that game, something maybe that you said in the dressing room before the game that can be useful for this game?
Oh, much more than the Barcelona game is useful, we'll see. But we played years ago, I don't even know when it was, but with Dortmund against Madrid. We lost at Madrid 3-0. We played not good. Madrid was clear better that night. German journalists asked me afterward if it's gone already, and I had to say, probably, but what shall we do? We have to play the second leg as well. So that was the situation. After 37 minutes in the next game, we were 2-0 up. It stayed with 2-0, by the way. So we didn't go through. But football is football, we all know that, and there are a lot of things possible. But first and foremost, I understand that we speak now about result, obviously, but for me it's only much more important is the performance. We have to play like ourselves. We have to play as good as we can. We have to try to win that game, and just that. And then we will see what the result where the result leads us to. So winning 1-0 would mean whenever we score that goal, we have a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes time to try to get the second goal and all these kind of things. But and for that you have to really, and that's really important with the quality Madrid has. You have to defend on your absolute highest level, what we didn't do the other night, and that's why this is as important as the other things. It's about winning football games always, and that's a target for tomorrow night. If that will end up in a comeback or not, I have no idea, but I never had before. It's just we have to bring ourselves in a mood that we start believing in that again. If that happens, if we can see it, that it's possible until tomorrow night, then we have a chance, but it's still incredibly difficult.
Okay, just before we go to James from TalkSport and then Carl from the Press Association, we're having a few issues, I think, with simultaneous translation here, so apologies for that. I've noticed I've got Diego and Elias on. If you're able to ask your questions in English, even if it's difficult, then if we can do that, that would be great. If not, we'll see if we can sort it out.
If they understood what you said, they can ask a question in English.
Indeed,
100%.
we'll come to you. But we'll go to James from TalkSport first.
Can you ask your question?
Yeah, it's fine, go on.
Yeah, we know that a 2-0 victory would suffice tomorrow night. And does the state of the tie affect the way you approach the game? Or from what you're saying there, you almost do have to approach it as if it's 0-0. And how important is that clean sheet going to be?
Yeah, very important. Yeah, but that's actually not too different to other games. You never want to concede goals, and if you are really focused and on that, and that's what we have to do. So we cannot ignore defending in this game. The quality that we get punished for sure. I have no idea if anybody in the world can deny Real Madrid from having any chances. So they beat us a week ago. Yes, we were not good, but a few days later they beat Barcelona in a very important game as well. So they are obviously in a good moment, and we have to deny that, and we have to defend on our highest level, and then we have to create as well. So that's it. It's nothing different really, but of course it feels always different. Like, yes, it's all this game starts with 0-0 anyway, but if they would go 1-0 up, whatever, then in a normal game we have to score 2 to win it, and to score 1 to get a point wouldn't help, 2-1 wouldn't help. So that's the situation. We have to be 100% on our absolutely top level to have a chance to make it. But that's possible that we are at our 100%, so we should try it.
Okay, thank you. We go to Carl Markham, and then we're going to try Diego and Elias, but we'll go to Carl Markham first.
Hi again.
Hi.
You said last week that you didn't want really to be known as the comeback kings for games, for reputation you've got. But I'm just wondering, tomorrow is exactly 5 years today since that Europa League comeback against Dortmund, and obviously the Barcelona one features heavily. Do you use any of that as motivation for your players in the preparation?
Well, we will see. The boys know that some of the players were involved in these games and famous. Did I say I don't want to be known as the comeback kings? Okay.
Yeah, I think you actually said, it's not like I sit here and say comebacks are our thing.
Yeah, because you cannot take it for granted. So you never could and you never should. So that's it, pretty much. Yeah, true. So you don't get a comeback because you had a comeback in the past. You only have a chance if you play really good football in the present, and that's what we have to do. The best situation would be if you don't bring yourself in a situation that you need a comeback. But obviously that's not worth to talk about now. But the situation is clear. The situation is clear. That's why this competition is so interesting, because you have these rules like the away goal counts different and all these kind of things, and so that makes it really exciting. And we will see. And we should not concede. And if we then can create more than we had at Madrid, and that should be possible, because we didn't have a lot, then we will see what we get in the end. But it's not. What I actually really mean. We cannot just take comebacks for granted, especially not without a crowd in the stadium. So, and we have to create our own atmosphere again for this game, and we will do. Will not do that today, or like that it constantly going off for the boys and try to tell them whatever kind of stories. No, we have tomorrow a full day, one session in the morning, light session, and then a full day to prepare us from a atmosphere point of view.
Okay, thank you very much, Carl. We've still got a couple to come from Dave and also Chris, but we've probably got all the hands up we can now for Jürgen's section. A reminder, Andy Robertson comes next as the Liverpool player. We're going to try Diego Plaza, if possible. Diego, see, sat in your car. Are you okay in English, or do we need to try the headphones?
In Spanish, please.
We can try these. There we go. Yes, it works. We can hear you. Fire away, Diego.
Okay. Buenas tardes, Jürgen. Diego Plaza del Chiringuito. Zidane dijo tras ganar al Barcelona que estaban al límite físicamente. ¿Usted cree que esa puede ser una de las claves a su favor en el encuentro? ¿Plantear un partido físico con una presión alta e intensa desde el inicio?
Because the problem is, I think Real Madrid didn't win the competition that often with Zinedine Zidane because they are not experienced. They are pretty experienced, and these are all things. They're already part of the game. So that they have intense season and they have injuries. That's clear. Everybody can see that. We have the same. So we're on the same level. Nobody has to use that for any kind of explanations. So it's just late in the season. Crazy year with a lot of games and all these kind of things, but the decisive part of the season is now, and I'm 100% sure Real Madrid will be 100% ready for this game, and that's what we prepare for, or not for what the team felt 5 minutes after the Barcelona game, which is obviously a moment when you really feel each bone when it was that intense. So they are in a good moment, and that's what we will prepare for.
Thank you, Diego. Before we just go to Elias next, we're going to go to Juan Ignacio, if you can be ready, but we'll go to Elias first. I'm not sure which language this is in, Elias, either English or Spanish.
English.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jürgen.
Hi.
What's it going to take tomorrow to get the breakthrough to beat Real Madrid?
What will you need to get the breakthrough to beat Real Madrid?
To beat Real Madrid, you have to defend Real Madrid on your absolute highest level, because their offensive qualities are incredible, and even that is then really difficult. The first goal they scored is a good example for it. That's for most of the teams in the world not even half a chance, but the pass from Toni Kroos and the first touch and the finish was absolutely incredible. And so even when you defend them well, and deny them a lot of things, then these things are still possible. For the next two goals, our percentage of involvement was too high, definitely. So we have to defend Real Madrid on a really high level, and then we have to create ourselves, and that's what we will try. That's it, pretty much. I cannot invent any new things just because we are 3-1 down. We will use the usual tools of football, or we'll try at least.
Terrific. We go to Juan Ignacio, if you can turn your mute off, and do we need the headphones? Will this be in Spanish or English, Juan? Oh, hello.
Hola, Juan.
Juan, can you hear us? No. Okay, we'll come back to him in a second if we can. We'll go to Chris Bascom and then Dave Maddock. Chris.
Hi again.
Hi.
It was pretty obvious last week that was not the real Liverpool. I mean, is there a sense of pride comes into play with a game like this? You're playing Real Madrid, huge game. You know, even for one reason other than the final, that wasn't Liverpool the last 4 years for one reason or another. Is there a real sense that you've got to show yourselves now?
That's the plan. That's the plan, but it's look. It's how I said. It's all these kind of things in press conference. I have no problem with press conference. The only thing is that the only thing a press conference could be influential is in a negative way. That I give some phrases, headlines, whatever, and for them it's absolutely not. I don't like that, and we don't need that. I'm already completely in the mood for the game, and that means whatever we want in this tie, we have to show tomorrow night on the pitch, and not me here or Robbo later in the press conference or whatever. It's all about tomorrow night on the pitch. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Dave Maddock and then Neil Jones. Dave.
Jürgen, from everything you've said, I kind of get the impression that you think if the real Liverpool turns up, and I think you used that phrase before, then you do have the tools to beat Real Madrid because, like you said last week, they play in a way which sort of suits you perfectly. So I guess the question is, given the defensive problems that you've had, and you've spoken about how important it is to defend well, how does the real Liverpool turn up? Because it seemed last week you were a bit nervous because of the defensive issues and their quality in attack.
Yeah, so it's a difference to watch Real Madrid or to play Real Madrid, I have to say. So because the quality of the individual quality of the players is really high. If they obviously want something desperately, what was the case that night, and how I said, the first goal was a genius long ball in between two defenders, really difficult to defend. You are either way in the right spot or not. That's pure luck, and you can defend it, or in the end not anymore, how it was in our case. But the other two goals, we just didn't defend well enough. So the one goal, it was obvious, and the other goal, it's not about our defensive problems. If they have a throw in around about 15 yards in front of our goal, and they throw the ball there, and there's no challenge until they finish the situation off, that makes absolutely no sense. And that it starts already with that. So we have to change that. Why we were that night not exactly in the shape? Were we nervous? I don't know. The quality and the was quite impressive in the game, to be honest. But again, you only can stop them doing from what they are good at by doing the stuff you are good in on a 100% level, and that's what we didn't do that night. But if you do that, then everything comes to level, and then it's a much more interesting, exciting game, and that's the plan for tomorrow night. The plan for us is to try to win the football game. So, and of course, when we drew Real Madrid, nobody thought, oh my God, we shouldn't even try. But of course, and when we are really good, then we can beat Real Madrid. But we have to be really good for it. And that's the plan now for tomorrow night, that we really try exactly that. And if we can win the game, then we will see which result we have. Is the 4-3, doesn't help a lot, would be still a win. If it's a 2-1, it's not enough, but close enough to maybe score a third one. If it's a 2-0, it would be enough. So these kind of things, I don't know in the moment, but what we have to do is pretty clear. And everybody who saw us playing well knows what we have to do in these moments, because that's exactly playing like our best selves.
Thank you. Right, Juan, we're going to try you again. We've put you back on mute because we could hear you tight right there. If you'd like to unmute and ask your question, and do we need the headphones? Juan?
Hola, Jürgen.
Yes, please. One second.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Juan Ignacio García Ochoa del diario Marca. Yo quería preguntarle por Vinicius Junior. No sé si les sorprendió en la ida, que es un jugador que habitualmente no marca muchos goles, si les sorprendió su rendimiento en la ida y se ha preparado un plan especial para frenarle mañana.
So
I couldn't hear it now, but probably somebody can tell me later.
I'm not sure if we can actually. Phil, do you want to try that one more time?
Now I think now I hear you.
Yeah. No, that's okay. One, translation.
Yeah, now I hear you.
Quería preguntarle por Vinicius Junior. No sé si les sorprendió en el partido de ida su rendimiento a usted y a sus jugadores, y si para mañana han preparado algo especial para frenar su velocidad.
I was impressed, not surprised. He's obviously an outstanding talent, and everybody knew it before Real Madrid signed him. But since then, he became obviously even better, and that's cool. Special plans, yeah. That's unfortunately the case. You saw the one goal, I think we could have defended. The other goal, I said, was just a great long ball, and then great first touch and great finish. So yeah, we tried to avoid the passes in his direction, which is a big task actually. But impressed, yes. Surprised, not.
Okay. Final question to Jürgen Klopp, and then Andy Robertson will be in a few minutes' time. To Neil Jones from goal, and that concludes this part of the press conference. Neil.
Hi, Jürgen. Just wanted to ask about Kroos specifically. I mean, he's someone you've seen close hand in him coming through with Germany. Could you give an appreciation of him as a player, and how difficult is it to cope with him when he plays the way he did in the first leg?
Oh, one of the biggest talents in German football for a long time. He's a great player since very early, when he was really young. Pretty early, signed for Bayern, got a loan for Leverkusen, came back to Bayern, played incredible stuff there, made then a kind of a brave move to Real Madrid, and became there one of the most successful club footballers in the world, with Germany together, world champion as well in 2014. So obviously quite a successful career so far, and not really old. I'm not sure, Tony might be 29, something like that. So there's still a lot to come. Quite a nice person as well, really relaxed fella, and so we don't know each other really well, but I appreciate him obviously for years already, or admire him already for years, because he's just a wonderful football player. Yeah, that's it pretty much. So, and his skills are obviously, it's like I'm not sure if you know Bernd Schuster, but there was another German player who played quite successful in Spain. It's a similar player, but Tony is probably even more dynamic, quicker in all the things he's doing. Maybe not a sprinter, but quicker. So a guy who is really difficult to defend, because he can change the game from really deep areas. And when he is higher up the pitch, then he is still the eye for the pass through the gap, or for a proper finish from distance. So yeah, nice package, to be honest.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And Andy Robertson will be up next, and thanks for bearing with us for that. That's you, Ross. Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Thanks, Jack. Come over, shoot. Daniel, I'm coming with you. You can hold the fire. Yeah. You come with us? Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Okay, guys, good to go. Vinny, do you want to start with the first three, please?
Well, hi Andy.
Vinny, how are we?
I'm good, thanks mate. You?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good, good. The boss said no opportunity without pressure last week, so how do you feel about the opportunity you've given yourselves to finish top four now, and given the history of big nights, big comebacks at Anfield, how do you feel about the opportunity you have to progress tomorrow night?
Yeah, look, we're still in the competition. You know, maybe not many give us hope, but you know, we believe we can put in a better performance than you know, last week, and that's the only way that gives us a fighting chance. You know, we need to be better at everything we do. Tomorrow night, we need to put pressure on a unbelievable, experienced team, and try and make it uncomfortable for them. And if we can do that, and if the chances can fault us and we can take them, then, you know, let's see where it takes us. You know, it needs to be a close to perfect game. We've done it in the past, but, you know, we can't rely on that. We need to try and create our own atmosphere tomorrow night. Of course, we've not got our fans in there with us, and it's up to us to create our own atmosphere and create, you know, a Champions League night at Anfield without the fans.
Yeah, I was going to say, with no fans, I mean, you look at that game against Barcelona a couple of years ago, and how do you replicate a kind of Barcelona night when you haven't got that kind of atmosphere to play in front of?
Yeah, look, the Barcelona game, look, I don't think it's any secret, and I think the manager said it before, that, you know, that wouldn't be possible without, you know, the fans. The fans made us feel 10 feet tall. They made us, you know, believe even more so. You know, in that changing room before that game, we believed we could overturn it, but walking out to, you know, 55,000 other people that believed, it just gave you that extra, you know, that extra 5-10%, which makes a huge difference. But tomorrow we need to create that ourselves. Of course, look, our fans are watching at home and they'll be kicking every ball with us, but, you know, we need to try and create that atmosphere in the changing room before we go out and on the pitch. And like I said, we need to be better at everything we do, in terms of what we did last week. So that's got to be the aim. We've got to have no regrets, and at least if we can walk off that pitch given our absolute all, then we can know that we've left nothing on there, and that's the key. And you know, if we get there, then amazing, and if we don't, then at least we can keep our heads held high. But our aim is to make it as difficult as we can and try and get through to the semi-final, because we know what's at stake. We know how good this competition is, and you know, we want to be a part of it as long as we can be.
And we also saw your reaction to Trent's win at the weekend. I wondered if that was as much for Trent as it was for the importance of that goal as well, because what have you made of the spotlight he's been under recently, and how do you guys, and you especially, kind of help him through that? And then obviously you take great satisfaction when he bounces back like that.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I'd love to say the reaction was for Trent, but I couldn't care less who had scored it. I just wanted the 3 points. You know, at the weekend, we know it's getting to the point of the season where, you know, drop points is, you know, it just hurts you that bit more in terms of the league positions and things like that. So it was just a huge goal for us. But look, for me, it's a sign of, you know, it's a sign of a world-class player. You know, when world-class players don't perform to the levels that maybe they have done, then people criticise them more. You know, people criticise them more than maybe your normal player or your ordinary player. So for me, you know, I know it's hard for Trent, but he should take it as some sort of compliment. And you know, the fact that so much noise has been made about him. But look, for me and for the teammates and for somebody that's close to him and cares about him, it's just about trying to keep his confidence at the highest level, because when it's like that, then, you know, nobody touches him. And I thought on Saturday he put in a very good performance. I thought against Arsenal he was excellent. Of course, he struggled against Madrid in midweek, but we all did. Not one of us played well, but more gets said about Trent's performance than anyone else's. So, look, for me, he's a strong character. He's always been that since he's been a young age, and that's why he is where he is. That's why he's at the top of the game at a very early age, and you know, he'll come over all the criticism. But look, it's just about trying to not let it affect him and try and do what he does on the pitch, because when he does that, then, you know, I don't think anyone can touch him.
Okay, we'll go to
Ian. All the best.
Thanks.
Cheers, Vinny. We're going to go to Ian next, and then James from TalkSport. So Ian, do you want the next one?
Hi Andy, just in the context of this game now, how important was that win at the weekend against Aston Villa? It was important from a league point of view, but the fact that it was at Anfield, and this game that you have to turn around is also obviously at Anfield, in the context of the run that you've had at home.
Yeah, look, our run at home has not been good enough since Boxing Day. In terms of the points that we've dropped, the defeats that we've came to, it's simply not been good enough. And to then get our first win of the new year there, it always makes a difference. And then when you walk on that pitch tomorrow, you've got good feelings instead of negative ones, which have maybe been the case the last couple of weeks with the performances and the results we've had here. But we'll go into tomorrow full of confidence. We've got nothing to lose. Of course, Real Madrid are hot favourites, and so they should be with the aggregate they've got. But it's up to us to leave everything on the pitch, give a better performance than we did last week, and give ourselves the best possible chance to progress, because we don't want to give up on our chances of getting through, and we won't do that until the last whistle's been blown. But we know how hard a task it's going to be, and we know we probably need as close to perfect performance as we can.
Okay, James from TalkSport, do you go next, please? Oh, James, your audio's not coming through, I don't think. We'll try again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
There we go, yeah.
Perfect, sorry. Andy, we know that a 2-0 victory would suffice tomorrow night. How does the state of the tie affect the way you approach the game, or do you almost need to approach it like it's 0-0, try and go for the win, and then use a bit of game management if you reach the latter stages of the game and you still have the opportunity of qualifying?
Yeah, look, I think it's important that we just go into the game as a normal game. Look, we go into every game looking to win. So like you said, we need to play our own game, play a normal game, put them under pressure, and try and win the game. That's always our aim, whether it's an aggregate two-legged or whether it's just a league game. That's being at Liverpool, you've got pressure to win every game. So no, that'll be the aim. We'll go into the game trying to cause them problems, trying to take chances when they fault us, and like you said, if we do that, and in the later stages, let's see where we're at. But hopefully we're in the lead and we know exactly what we have to do, because it's important to try and keep a clean sheet as well. We need to be defensively on the highest mark as well, and as well as going forward. So like when the chances fault us, we need to try and take them, and we need to try and keep their chances to a bare minimum, and we need to have an all-round top performance, and that's what we'll be working towards over the next 24 hours, and trying to get us in the best possible shape to do that. And like I said, fingers crossed that will be enough on the night. But we know we're playing against a European giant, a giant that's so good at this competition, and they'll obviously have their own game plan, but we need to make it as difficult as we can for them.
Okay, Carl, do you want to go next, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Andy.
Hi, mate.
I'm just wondering, what was the overriding emotion coming off the field last week against Madrid, and what motivation can you use that for going into tomorrow?
Look, it was one of disappointment. Of course it was. I don't think anyone hid away from that in terms of post-match interviews and things like that. The performance wasn't on the level that it should be. We gave away 3 cheap goals that probably could have been avoided, and look, we got an away goal, which is probably the only bonus of that night. Obviously getting that goal with Mo was big, and it made it 2-1, which wouldn't have been the worst. But then we go and concede another poor goal from our point of view up the other end. So look, we've gave it was disappointment walking off the pitch, but we've gave ourselves a chance. We're still in the tie, we're still in the competition, and it's up to us to try and use that to try and stay in the competition. It's going to be tough. Like I said, people have maybe written us off. People will think Real Madrid will go through, and it's up to us to try and change that, and try and be as positive as we can be, and put in a performance that can cause them problems. And we need it, like I said, as close to perfect performance as we can, and if we do that, then I believe it gives us a chance.
Okay, we'll just take the last 4 questions here. So Juliet, do you want the first one, please?
Hi Andy, I was just thinking, I was at Manchester City when Real Madrid came in after restart and played that game, and you talk about creating the atmosphere. I was just wondering a thought, as long as it's safe, everybody who was involved that night off the pitch was like behind the home dugout, and it created so much noise. And is that the kind of noise that you would need to try and progress through to beat Real Madrid, and would that help?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure if it will help, but if it helped Man City, then, you know, I remember watching that game actually, and obviously they got through pretty comfortably. So, but look, it's up to us to create our own atmosphere. You know, on the pitch, we need to be able to be, you know, as high intensity, as high as everything that we can be. It's the quarter-final of the Champions League. There's nobody more than me that would love 55,000 Liverpool fans in that stadium tomorrow night, but it's not possible. But, you know, it shouldn't take much for us to get up for a quarter-final of a Champions League, and it won't. You know, the lads are motivated, the lads are determined to try and progress, and but, you know, you obviously come up against a very good team, and you come up against you know, a really experienced team that have been there and done it before, and they're obviously as determined as us as well. But it's up to us to try and put in a better performance than last week, and prove that, you know, we're a good team, and that we can cause them problems. And if we do that, then I believe we can win the game. And whether it's enough, then it's enough. But look, if everyone in the stadium wants to gather behind the dugout, then, you know, be my guest. And if it creates a better atmosphere, then you know, so be it.
Okay, guys, the final three here will go Chris, Dom, and then Diego. So, Chris, do you want the first one, please?
Hi, Andy. Just if you take your mind back, what would you say was more daunting, having to try and beat Barca 4-0 with a full crowd, or Real 2-0 with no crowd? Or are they both equal in their own way?
Look, they're both as hard as, you know, they're both different, but, you know, the same in their own way. You know, Barcelona that night, you know, was obviously an incredible night, and it wouldn't have been possible without the 55,000 fans in there. That's a fact. You know, the way, you know, the noise they made at the start, the noise they made when we scored the first, and it just carried on, and it got louder and louder as the night went on. And unfortunately, tomorrow night we won't have that. But, you know, we're coming up against the team that's the most experienced in this tournament. You know, won it the most times in the short history and the long history. They're a fantastic team, full of quality, and it's you know, it's a big task for us. It's not the same as the Barcelona game, and, you know, we can't rely the fact that, you know, we came back from that game that we're going to come back from this one. It's a huge task in front of us, but, you know, we believe that we can win the game. We believe we can win any game, and like I said, if we do that, it gives us a fighting chance, and let's see if it is enough on the night, and, you know, fingers crossed that it will be. But that's got to be our aim. We've got to aim to win the game first and foremost, and once we do that, then you know, let's see what the aggregate score is, and let's see what we need to do. But our determination is to take our chances, to keep a clean sheet, and hopefully make it as uncomfortable a night for them as possible.
Okay, Dom.
Andy, incentives are a big thing in football. Just looking at it, obviously you want to stay in this competition for as long as you possibly can, but there's also the possibility that you might not be in it next season, so there's a sort of extra incentive for you to try and stay in this one for as long as you can and go all the way. Is that something that's in your mind?
To be honest, no. For us, there's a chance to win, you know, the biggest trophy in European football, and, you know, that's all we're going for. We're a team, we're a squad, we're everything connected to this club just now is a team that, you know, luckily we've had a bit of success in the last couple of years, and we want to continue that. We want to not just rest on winning the trophies that we've already won. We want to win more, and that's our motivation. That's our determination. You know, the top four race and everything like that will take care of itself. You know, we need to, you know, keep going in the league and keep trying to pick up points, and hopefully the teams above us drop points. That's of course, you know, we need to do that. But for us, it's you know, tomorrow night's just all about progressing to the semi-final, because we've never looked too far ahead. We're still a long way off the final, and even that becoming a possibility. So all I'm worried about is trying to get into the semi-final of a Champions League, because I know how special they can be, and, you know, we want to be a part of this tournament. We want to try and, you know, get through to the next round, and that's all our determination. But like I said previously, you know, unfortunately we're coming up against one of the most experienced teams at it, and their determination's the exact same. So we need to be at our best, and we need to hope that we can take any chance he's given to us tomorrow night.
Okay, you'll need the headlines for this, Andy. Diego, do you want to do the last question, please? Do you want it in Spanish? Diego, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
Buenas tardes, Andy. Diego Plaza del Chiringuito. Sufristeis mucho en el partido de ida y tanto Klopp como tú insistís hoy en mantener la portería a cero. ¿Qué jugador del Real Madrid te preocupa más? ¿La técnica o la movilidad de Benzema, la velocidad de Vinicius o la calidad de Asensio?
Yeah, look, in terms of the players going forward for Real Madrid, they're so high quality. They showed their quality last week. The wingers were both played very well. Benzema showed his quality for a number of years now, and one of the best strikers in the world. So it's about trying to, like the manager said, and like I've said previously, it's about trying to keep them out and trying to keep a clean sheet, because we know how important that can be for the tie, because we would need to score 2 goals. Of course, the more goals they score, the more goals we need to score. So look, they showed how good they are going forward, but I don't think we showed how good we can be defensively that night, and we need to be better at getting the ball back, not giving the midfielders time on the ball, and being able to get their head up and pick passes, and trying to help out defensively all over the park. And if we do that, then I believe we can make it more difficult for them. Of course, they're still world class players that can make something happen, but it's up to us to try and do everything we can to not allow that to happen. And if we do that, then I believe we can have a good game. But it's going to be an incredibly tough task, but I believe it's one that we can do, and it's one that we're going to have to do if we want to progress. And that's the aim from us, and that will be the aim tomorrow night. And now we need to go out and do it, and try and do it to the best of our ability.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for that. Thank you for attending. Just a reminder, Real Madrid's press conference is due to start at 6:15 this evening.